Something I get asked quite a lot is, does it get any easier the more kids you have? And what's it like going from 2 to 3 kids or 3 to 4 kids? If you're new to my channel, I have 4 children, 2 boys and 2 girls, aged 12, 11, 5 and 1. And yeah, it's something I get asked quite a lot, particularly from people who are interested in maybe having more children themselves. Maybe they've got 2 and they have always fancied having 3 or 4 and they're just wondering, how much harder are we really talking here? There are some things that are definitely easier the more kids you have. For example, I'm much more relaxed now as a mum of 4 than I was when I was a mum of just 1 or 2. And I think that's quite normal. I think the more experience you have, the less you worry about the little things, the less you feel you need to research or Google, which is what I spend a lot of my time doing when I only had 1 or 2 babies. It can also be easier to keep them entertained when you have more children, but that can also backfire because if they start bickering, that's worse than a bored child any day of the week. When they bicker and argue, that is probably the thing that stresses me out more than anything else as a mum. But when they all play together nicely, it is the loveliest thing. And it takes a lot of the pressure off me to entertain them and feel like I need to be constantly doing things and having friends over and taking them places. They just play together. Even though there's quite a big age gap between my 4, they still seem to play together really nicely some of the time. But there are definitely a few things that do not get easier the more kids you have, and I wanted to do this video as a bit of fun. Don't take it too seriously, it's definitely a bit tongue-in-cheek, but yes, there are some things that no matter how much experience you have as a mum, how many babies you have, these things are still as difficult to navigate as they were for me 12 years ago when I had baby number 1. So the first thing, and what actually inspired me to make this video in the first place, is cutting fingernails. I don't even want to know how many nails I've cut over the years, but it definitely doesn't get any easier. You'd think that you would come up with some kind of groundbreaking method for making them stay still long enough for me to cut their nails, and their toenails in particular. Nope, it's still as tricky and as terrifying 4 babies down the line. The next thing that definitely does not get any easier the more kids you have is leaving the house. Oh my word, it takes us at least an hour to get everyone out the house. I'm not even exaggerating. I have 2 sometimes stroppy teenagers who just generally don't like getting dressed. They like staying in their onesies or their pajamas all day in front of the TV, on a screen, listening to music, whatever it is that they're doing. They don't generally want to be dressed in order to do it. So getting out the house on the weekend is a challenge. And then throw into the mix a 5-year-old who is complete mischief personified and just likes to wind people up and push their buttons, and a toddler who sometimes wants to wear shoes, sometimes doesn't want to wear shoes, sometimes she wants to be picked up, sometimes she doesn't, will no doubt pick the very second you manage to get her coat and shoes on to do a poo, and then you have to strip her off and start the whole process again. It's exhausting. Just talking about it makes me tired and stressed out. It is so difficult to get a family of 6 out the door. My husband seems to think that it should be as quick and easy as it was when it was just the 2 of us leaving to go to the cinema. He still hasn't caught up with the fact that with 4 kids, you should add at least 45 minutes onto anything that you want to do ever. He gets himself in a right knot about it, and then I get myself in a knot about it. So yeah, that's a big one. I'd like to say 12 years down the line, we've got some kind of routine going on for leaving the house, but no, we really haven't. The next thing that doesn't get any easier the more babies you have is sleep. Getting it yourself, getting them to sleep. For me, in my experience, baby number 4 has been by far the most difficult of my 4 children to get into a sleeping routine. She still isn't sleeping through the night. She's 18 months old. So it's one of those things that unfortunately, experience as a parent does not help you out on this one. All babies are so different. My first baby was an absolute monkey when it came to sleep. He didn't like sleep. He liked to get up early. He didn't really like napping all that much. Yeah, he was a tricky one. My second baby was an absolute dream and would try and climb into her own cot to get herself off to sleep at night. She loved her sleep. She never woke up early. She slept through really early on. Amazing. My third baby was somewhere in the middle. He was really good at getting himself off to sleep, and once he was asleep, he was really sound asleep. Nothing really woke him up. Marnie is the complete opposite. She's the lightest sleeper. She won't go off to sleep on her own. I have to be right there with her. She wakes up at least once a night, sometimes more. She wakes up early. She never sleeps in. Nap times can be a bit hit and miss as well. So everything I've learned and all the experience I have to date as a mum means absolutely nothing when it comes to sleep. So the final thing that definitely does not get any easier the more children you have is dealing with the mum guilt. In fact, I feel like I literally have 4 times the mum guilt. I don't think a day goes by where I don't feel guilty about something. This morning, for instance, I feel so guilty because I forgot Aiden's reading book in his school bag. We were rushing out the door this morning, and after he'd left, I saw it on the side, and I just feel like the worst mum in the world for that. I feel guilty about something 99.9% of the time, I'm pretty sure. And I know mum guilt is something we all feel massively, and it's so silly because we're all doing our best, but you just can't help it, can you? No matter what you do, there's always something that you're gonna feel guilty for, and it has not got any easier with experience as a mum. If anything, it's just got worse. If you're a mum of 2, 3, 4 or more children, I'd love to hear from you. What are the things that you think have definitely not got easier the more kids you have? I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up if you did, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye!